Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's video. Today, First Impressions Day. My first impressions of this. I'll just take it out of the bag. This is the Jinhao 9019 and the material is called light blue. Really looking forward to trying this. I like the way it looks already. So join me now down on the mat. We'll take a look at the pen, do some size comparisons. I'll fill it with ink. We'll do a writing sample. And then I'll give you my first impressions of this pen. Welcome down to the table. So here we've got the Jinhao 9019. This is in light blue. Love the transparent nature of this. Looks very, very nice. Let's start by taking a walk through the body. So at the top, we've got a domed end. This comes down into the rest of the cap. This appears to be one unit with the clip popping out from there. The clip, we've got the word Jinhao. We come down, we've got a ball on the end. Nice and springy, does feel a bit on the stiff side. The cap, we have a taper out until we get maybe 3/4 of the way down the clip. Then it straightens up. We come down to this gold band. We've got Jinhao, we've got Dadao, and number 9019, and then back to Jinhao. So it tells you what it is, there's no doubt about that. This band does feel like it's tapering down slightly, then we have a little drop off into the rest of the body. The body, again, nice chunky body, seems to actually be bubbling out a little bit to my eye, then we taper back in. And at the end, we've got another rounded end there. Nice, simple looking pen. The cap, that comes off in half. 1, 1.5, 2. About 2.5 turns to take the cap off. I would have preferred between 1.5 and 2, but 2.5 is quite livable. This reveals this humongous nib. A humongous nib to go with a humongous pen, isn't it? This is a number 8 size nib, and it's a number 8 Jinhao nib. I love the two-tone nature. So we've got the gold, gold colour rather than gold, isn't it? Then we've got a silver colour, then we've got back inside the gold colour. We've got the Jinhao logo, the word Jinhao, and M. This is a medium nib. I do have one other number 8 Jinhao nib, and that's a fine. So for a future video, I'm intending to do a comparison between the two. The section, very nice, nice chunky section. My fingers fit very nicely on there. Be interesting to see how it goes when I start writing with it. You know, is it too wide? The body, that comes off to reveal metal fittings and this converter. One thing I like, the converter screws in. Means it's going to be really solidly in there. The other thing is the size of this converter. I haven't been able to measure how many cc's it is yet. Unfortunately, my syringe doesn't have the measuring on there, so I can't easily see. I'm looking at getting some more syringes. Then at a later stage, I'll be able to tell you how much ink would go in here. But certainly looks like a monster. Let's pop that back in. So remember, it screws in, it doesn't push in. Nice seated, nice and well. Pop that back on. And we'll pop the cap back on. Plastic feed. When you consider that I only paid $12 for the pen, really good value. Let's swap it over and we'll do some quick size comparisons. My two standard pens, Pilot Metropolitan, Lamy Safari. Look at the size difference between them. You know, the Pilot, very, very thin, going up against that monster there in the middle. Even the Lamy normally feels a nice width, but here it still looks small compared to that Jinhao. Let's just pop the caps off. With the caps off, we've got a slightly different story here in terms of length. All three pens very, very similar. The Metropolitan a little tiny bit shorter, but the Safari and that Jinhao both look about the same length. It's the width though of the Jinhao, isn't it? Now I'm just going to move this slightly. If I line it up so the bottoms of the sections are aligned rather than the bottoms of the nibs, the Jinhao is actually shorter there than the Metropolitan, which I think, just a little bit interesting. In the hand, this is a very nice pen. Nice length to it, nice width to it. It will post if you want to. Now, first time I've done this, it feels back heavy. It feels really cumbersome. So I don't think I'll be posting it, but I don't need to. It feels all right unposted. Time now to put some ink in the pen. Let's clear all this away. Might as well unscrew that and push that converter down. The ink I'm going to use by Noodlers, and it's Navajo Turquoise. I believe it's been renamed. I think it's Turquoise of the Mesa now, something like that. Not 100% certain. I've had this bottle a while, so this has got the old name in. One of the reasons I picked this ink, it's got a nice wide opening there on the bottle. So here's the pen. Let's pop it in. Let's see if I can get this angled. And then let's work the converter. So I've just done one pass and we've got a really good, I would say 7/8 of that converter is full. So I'm not going to bother refilling it again. Normally I do go up and down a couple of times to get a full fill. This one, first time, straight in there. Very nice to see. We just pop the pen back together and remove the ink so it doesn't get knocked over. Now I've already got my badge of honour. Just dropping in to interrupt your regular programming. Would you like to help support the channel? If so, please consider joining as a member. As a member, you'll get early access to my videos. I normally upload them a couple of days before they go out, and as soon as they're uploaded, they'll be released to members. There'll also be a shout out at the end of the videos, and then as we get the members coming in, we'll actually chat among ourselves and work out what other perks, what other things you'd like me to add in. You know, would you like maybe a monthly live chat just for members? All down to us. So please, if you can, consider joining the channel. A link will be in the description down below. Here we've got the notepad of testing. This is an A5 notebook made by Black & Red, uses Oxford optic paper, nice fountain pen friendly paper. Here's the Jinhao. Let's see how we go when we write with it. So we've got here a Jinhao 9019 with a medium nib. Bit of an issue there. Price wise, 12 Aussie dollars. The ink, Noodlers Navajo Turquoise. Nice looking ink. Seeing quite a lot of shading out coming through. Drying times, there's immediate, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute. Just go all the way over here to do that 1 minute test. Still getting a teeny tiny little smudge. Do you know, I've got really messy today with this particular one. I did find, I thought I'd wiped the nib and section off really well, but I did find there was ink actually inside the cap, so I must have had a little bit of leakage coming through there. Let's move the mic down to the page so you can hear the pen write. Sounds a little bit like it's singing to me whilst I'm writing. One thing I am noticing, the nib feels very, very stiff. Very similar, I would say, to my Platinum 3776 Century with a hard medium nib. That's how stiff it feels, really, really stiff. Bit like writing with a nail. Let's look for flow. So that's going forwards. And that's going backwards. A couple of little skips coming in there. Happened again round there. What are my thoughts on this pen? I love the shading I'm seeing with the ink. Loads of shading coming through in my writing, loads of character in my writing. The nib, as I said, feels fairly stiff. That might soften over time, but at the moment it actually feels quite uncomfortable to write with. The line, yeah, it's a good medium line. I had seen a couple of issues like here when I was doing this chevron, a couple of issues when I was doing my flow test down here, a couple of times in the rest of the writing where it felt like it was skipping a little bit. Not overly much, but it was just something I noticed. That maybe though, because the pen's so wide, maybe I need to adjust my grip slightly. That could be what's causing that. The nib itself doesn't look too bad. You know, nice look to that. It doesn't look like there's much of an issue with the tine, so I think the issue may be, I say, down to how I'm holding it. That's something I can play with over time. Love the width. It's so comfortable to use. Yes, I know I've only written a few lines here. Nice and comfy. My fingers are resting really gently. Nice length to it, nice shape to it. Quite an enjoyable pen. I think for $12, I think this is really good value. Whether it becomes a pen that becomes a go-to pen, I'm actually not certain. It's just too stiff, or at the moment feels too stiff. So I've got to work on that nib slightly, see if I can soften it down. As I say, we did have a little bit of an issue with that skipping. So they're my first impressions of the Jinhao 9019 with Noodlers Navajo Turquoise. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Really looking forward to using this pen and spending more time with it. I think it's a really nice size, very comfortable in my hand so far. What are your thoughts on this pen? I know a number of people, they've recommended it to me. So do you have one? What do you think about it? Please drop your comments down below. Let's kickstart the conversation. Please hit the thumbs up button. Every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.